Well, everyone, this is the Sawzall that was in that accident, and this is more or less a safety review on it, what I had to do. The plug is unplugged. It is not plugged in at any given time during the video for this. We've had to fix the rollers that you see right here. The rubbers have been put back on and put in place. We did find what caused the accident. It was a piece of 5160 steel got down in between the rollers and bent the rollers and jacked everything out. So the rollers have been replaced. They have been checked for alignment, so we got to put a new blade in it. Then we're going to remount it again on a new frame that'll be bolted down to the floor. The cord has been rewired all the way up into the trigger, so she should do just fine. Now, like I said, the bearings that had to be replaced because they just flat out just busted up, and the shafts on the screws and all had to be put in the lathe and lined back up, and we checked the housing of it, tightened up screws all over the Alright, in this part we're replacing the bearings, and this little small bearing here, they did not send it, so I had to check them, and they're good. See that little black line? Well, that little black line is going to go to the opposite side of where it was, and that way I can have a new spot on it, and I got to find a place to buy them. So it's going to go on the same shaft, it's going right back in the same hole, and we're going to push it inside the hole there. Now it has to move freely. It can't be jamming up and to one side or another, so to speak. So now you look at your bolts that go into there. Now one is threaded, which you see me doing there, and one is not. It's a straight pass through. The one that's threaded will be probably the last one that you put on, I believe. Now all the holes are good. I'll run a tap down them to make sure. Here you see me putting them in, and these are the new rollers, or bearings, excuse me. Now, once they're tight, you see me doing there with the screwdriver, I then check, make sure they rotate freely, and that back shaft there moves freely like that. If it didn't move like that, now it's going to eat up your housing, and then you got to buy that as well. So make sure when you install it, you install it right. Now there are two ways of doing this, and if you watch, I'll show you. I put this thing in backwards. When that happens, you notice it's not going to come together. One hole is threaded, one hole is not. Remember that. So if you got confusion, look over to the other side and see how it's mounted. And you just do opposite side. That's all you got to do. So the long bolt goes in the hole right there. It slides in, no problem at all, no threads, because the threads are in the main frame of the actual tool. You see it slide through? Now, I'm going to take that and I'm going to place it over here where the threads are at. Now that's an indication to you as direction. Now that screw's going on down nice and smooth the way I want it. Now if you look, the other one now is the short one, and it goes through into the threads of the bearing holder, or guide if you like. Now once I got it down in there and started, I'll tighten that up. Now understand, you need to make sure this is good and tight, but you need to make sure it's lined up as well. And I happen to know that it's lined up. There's a little guide piece down there on that bracket, and that little guide lets me know it's in line. So now I'll tighten everything up on this side. Now that was taking it off and doing it that way. This one will be done another way. I'll take these bearings off. Since that piece of metal has been cut out, I can get to the bearings, and I don't see a need to take it all the way off. I can replace everything right there and be good. And to be absolutely honest with you, I've already took it off and looked at them, and that little bearing in the back has been done. Now You see me making sure those bearings are still moving and not locked up. Now if you take your bearings that you take off that are bad, which these are not all of them bad, only half of them are bad, I put them around on the other side and I take the good ones and put on the shaft in the front. And since I'd already checked that little roller out when I ordered the bearings trying to get everything, I know it's good. I already know it's turned, so I'm just going ahead and putting the bearings on. Making sure everything's good and tight. Taking it off the same way. You're looking at it, you're feeling of it. And to be honest, folks, like I said before, I'd already run a tap through some of these, so I know that they're good. But my grandchildren wouldn't know how to put them on if I didn't show, so I'm going to show. Now we're going to end up putting a new blade on it sometime down the line here, but we're going to make a new table for it to be another upright again. And we're going to do things quite different. I got a video coming up that shows exactly how I did a lot of this, and I hope to share that with you in the next video. Alright, tightening it all down, making sure it's good to go. There we go. Alright, the bearings have now been installed. Now, pick them up. I'll be putting them in a little jar in a little bit to save them as long as I possibly can. Inspecting my work one last time, just making sure everything's working the way it should. Making sure I hadn't skipped anything that could hurt me. And keep the machine from running good. So that's about all I can do for her right now, so we're going to see how she goes. Y'all, stay tuned for the next video. Shows how I put it all together.